Schmidt here from Spiritual Being. I'm a house healer and a psychic development teacher. And today I'd like to talk to you about dowsing and spiritual communication. Who are you connecting to? What can you gain from connecting to spiritual beings? And what are the pitfalls of using dowsing? Some of the things to be aware of. So if you're interested, stay tuned. If you like what I talk about, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear how your dowsing's going or if you have any questions. So today we're going to talk about dowsing and what it is. So what is dowsing? So you can use two different types of tools. Dowsing is a type of divination, and the word divination just means connecting to off-worldly sources. So when you're using dowsing, you are using either dowsing rods or a pendulum. I prefer a pendulum, can use both, but a pendulum for me is quicker and more effective. So I've stuck with that particular method over the years. So when you're using your dowsing tool to connect to a spiritual source, what you're doing is you are connecting to an off-worldly source of energy. So if you want to call it God, source, creator, or spirit guides, angels, archangels, you're talking to high vibrational beings. Now, when you first start dowsing, you might think it's fun, it's cool, it's just something you're going to do because you want a bit of entertainment. It's not for entertainment. It is for connecting to the spiritual aspect of ourselves. So you can also call it the higher self, and getting information and assistance from your spiritual team or your spiritual network. Now, when you use your dowsing tools, the most important thing that you must always do is to ground and protect yourself. It is the most important things that you need to do, because when you are grounded, you are anchored into the earth. When you are dowsing, you are connecting with high vibrational off-worldly beings. So you're going to feel lightheaded. If you're not grounded, you're going to feel lightheaded, dizzy, a bit weird, like I can't cope, I don't know what's going on. So you need to ground yourself. And I will be doing other videos about grounding in the future. And you also use a protection method. So whether you use a white bubble or you use Australian bushflower essences, or you just visualize yourself being protected by your guides, angels, archangels, it's all about intention. So once you have done your grounding and used your protection method, you have to think about why you are dowsing. What is the reason that you want to dowse for? I'll give you an example. I use dowsing every day to transition spirits. So I connect into my spiritual helper who helps with the transitioning. We find out what the spirits need, and we help them get from here to the next level of their spiritual journey. So I use dowsing every single day. Some people just use it when they want to do house healing, or if they want to just have a bit of fun and connect with what's out there. Now, that is the dangerous part of using dowsing. If you don't know what you're doing and you're opening a door by using an intention and going, I want to connect with something out there. Unless you're really specific about what you want to connect to, you're going to get all sorts of random energies coming to you, because they love people playing with dowsing instruments, with divining tools. So I know when I use my pendulum, I know what the swing is like. It's light, it's gentle. I'm using my arm movements because this is how it moves. It's light and gentle, and it flows really freely. As I'm doing my house healing work, sometimes I will get the heavier energies coming in from a home, a building, the land, or a person's energy field. So I know when my pendulum suddenly gets heavy and the swing has got a real pull to it, and my yes and my no answers are not my normal yes and no answers, I know there's something else using my pendulum. So until you have practiced and you look at what your intention is. What is your intention to use a dowsing tool? It's not entertainment. It is for a purpose. So you need to look at why you want to use it. Yes, you can learn to use it and you can practice, But see, that's about intention. That's about going, I want to connect with my spirit guides, because these high vibrational beings, whether they're high vibrational or lower vibrational, they read your mind and they'll go, yeah, she's just had a good dose of some sort of recreational drug and she's pulling out a dowsing rod or a pendulum or a Ouija board. Let's just jump in there and give her a bit of merry hell. And I'm not exaggerating. I've dealt with lots and lots of energies, many different levels, many different types over the years. I know what they can get up to. So you just have to look at grounding, focus, protection, and intention. Intention is so important, because they know, they can read your energy field like a book. So it's really important that you have the right intention when you want to dowse to connect to spiritual energies. So say you've just been to the shop and you've bought a pendulum. You've watched someone on YouTube use a pendulum and you've sat down at your kitchen table. You're going to do your grounding and your protection. And then you're going to say to yourself, I give permission for my spirit guides to be with me while I use my pendulum. So what you're doing is you're opening the doorway to your spirit guides being there for you. Now, pendulums are only going to give you, or dowsing rods, or any divination tool that you use, are only going to give you positive information. Now, you might get a challenging bit of information come through that makes you go, whoa, I don't want to do that. But what it is the challenge, once you do it, is the hurdle or the blockage that once you get over that, you can move on to the positive thing that's coming for you. If your pendulum, your dowsing rod, or any other your tools are telling you really negative things and you don't feel right, like your body is a pendulum. Seriously, it is the first pendulum that we have. Even before you go and buy one, we are a pendulum. I know when there's negative energies around because I can feel them. My head gets wobbly, my stomach feels sick. Depending on the level of them, they can give me malevolent thoughts, my behaviours change, my walking changes, my speech changes, my jaw slips out of alignment. Your body is a pendulum. You'll know the types of energies that are coming into you. So you've got to look at what your intent is. So important. Even if you write down the process for yourself so that you know what you're going to be doing with your pendulum. I simply just sit in my chair now and where I do all my work, and I just grab my pendulum. I've already done my grounding, protection, done first thing when I get out of bed, and I sit there, pick it up, and it just spins instantly, because this is what I do every day. When you're learning about using a pendulum, it's going to take a while for you to get to know what your yes and your no answer is. And management's just saying, don't rush it. Take your time with learning what your yes and what your no is. And the way that your pendulum spins is so important, because if it's heavy and it's pulling, that's not something that's higher vibrational. I'm just telling you from my own experience, that is not a higher vibrational being speaking to you. That is something else. All you do is you just pack your pendulum up. You might want to go out and put it in the sun, sit it in a salt bath, wash it, whatever you want to do with it to cleanse it. Go and sit yourself out in the sun and just say, whatever's here needs to go right away. Right? Remember, no fear. I always say to people, no fear when you're dealing with this stuff, because fear is food. Okay. So what you're going to do when you start using your pendulum, so you've got your yes and no answer. You've got that functioning beautifully. You know what the swing's like. Your body feels good. You're going to build a relationship with your guides, because you can't just go in there and go, right, tell me what I want to know. If someone spoke to me like that in living form, I'd be like, really? I'm not telling you anything. Go away and think about the way you're approaching me. Come back and say it nicely. So when I work with spirit guides, when I work with my pendulum, I always say please and thank you. Yes, I know it is an object, but vibration, manners, absolutely. Vibration, manners, respect. What you put out is what you're going to get back. I'm getting a really big yes on this. I watch so many people go, pendulum, tell me. And then they go, stop. And then they go, tell me something else. That's not going to get the results that you need. You have to build a relationship with your guides, angels, archangels, source, God, creator, whatever the energy is that you're tuning into. Be friendly, like you would to your best friend or your grandma. You just build that relationship and build that communication with them. And that's why when I sit down, mine just spins automatically. It's like, hi, how are you? So glad to see you. And I always call them my pendulum helper because they won't give me their name, which is okay. They're just like, nah, maybe they don't have a name. So I just call it my pendulum helper. Whenever I'm finished, I say, thank you, have a great day. I will see you in the morning. Same as you would treat any living person. They are an energy. They are a being, a soul essence, part of the great consciousness. So you use respect, really important. Now, guides know your intention. Like seriously, they read your minds all the time. Sometimes I will ask my pendulum a question in my mind, something I know the answer to. Every now and then I'll just test it, just to make sure I'm getting sort of my yes and no answers are correct. So I'll just sit there in my mind, I will ask a question, and then I'll look and see what the answer is. So use your intention. It's really, really important that you focus on being very clear about what you want. If you've woken up and you're having a really bad day and everything's just going to crap today, and you're like, nah, I'm going to get my pendulum out. It won't work. It just won't work. And they're saying to me too, having preconceived outcomes about what you want from your pendulum, you're not going to get it. I'm going to tell you right now that guides, angels, archangels, whoever you're connecting to, is going to give you what you need, not what you want. So if you want something specifically, you've already gone in there, you're going to get a yes. I have a dear friend and she has some difficulties with her pendulum. And it's because she's a bit stressed and a bit nervous and not really sure about what she wants. And she's like, I really need this outcome. And she'll ask her pendulum. She gets either an unclear answer or she gets exactly what she wants. And then down the track, it doesn't eventuate because she's gone in with preconceived ideas up here. So of course, it is going to give you what you want. Another thing I've done with my pendulum when I first started with it is I would sit there and I'd go, show me a yes, please. And I'd see my yes. And then I'd say, please show me a no. Great, thank you. And then I would ask a question and I'd already have in my mind the answer that I want. And so it would give me a no because it wasn't the answer that I wanted. But then I would in my mind go yes. And the pendulum would actually change to give me a yes. And this taught me about preconceived outcomes. You have to go in using a pendulum with a totally blank mind. Blank, totally blank. No issues, no worries, worrying about the dog or doing the washing up. No, nothing. You have to be totally blank every time you pick it up, because then you ask a question, you're going to get an honest answer. Now, it takes practice. When you're working with your pendulum, you're not going to be a master at it straight away. It's like anything else. Have to practice. I've been doing it a long time now, probably at least 12 years. So mine just goes instantly. It's like, bam, there we go, instantly. Now, I'd also like to say too, if you want to connect to a family member who has passed away, you don't need to use a pendulum. Past loved ones will come to you in your dreams. Okay, they will come to you through photos. You will see them, hear them, feel them talking to you. We don't use Ouija boards for connecting to past loved ones because remember, Ouija boards are an open doorway to anything that happens to be roaming the universe. I'm going to do a video on Ouija boards soon because I've had a reasonable amount of experience with them, and I know people have used them and had positive results, but I've had them and worked with clients through my house healing work that have had negative experiences 15, 20 years onward. The last thing that I would like to say before I go is do not, under any circumstances, invite spirits to stay in your home. So say you're using your pendulum, all right, and grandma pops up. Remember, grandma doesn't need to use a pendulum to talk to you. This may be a malevolent energy, a trickster energy, facading itself as grandma, all right, or a child. This happens so frequently. You see this child, it looks all sad and lonely and miserable and it's got tears and it's like, oh. These are trickster energies. Right? Spirits do not do that. I work with them every single day. They do not come through pendulums in that form. So they are trickster energy. So you do not, under any circumstances, invite energies to stay in your home, and you absolutely do not invite them to possess your body. I was out with a friend one night and we were in a particular place, and he was like, oh yeah, come and possess me. You do not know what you're getting yourself into. I have dealt with possession. Seriously, it is not something you ever want to see, feel, hear or know in your lifetime. These things will mess with your head. They can drive you to suicide, some of these energies. Not all of them, but some of them. I'm not trying to frighten you, but I'm just saying, when you use a pendulum, be aware of grounding, protection, your intent. What do you want from your pendulum? How are you feeling on the day when you're using it? Write down what you want to do. Ask your spirit guides to be present with you. God, source, creator, spirit guides, angels, archangels. Ask them to be present with you while you're learning to use your pendulum. Think about whether you're in the right state of mind. Am I in the right state of mind to be doing this today? Think about all these things before you sit down and use your pendulum. Remember, it is not a toy. It is not for fun. It is a spiritual tool. So I hope you found this interesting today. If you like what I do, please hit the subscribe button. I'll be doing many, many more videos about the paranormal, about working with dark energy, about house healing, numerology, readings, all sorts of things, the things that I do online. So if you like what I do, please hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave me a comment, and I will see you again soon.